Hey everyone! Today we are at the future, learning more about the owner, Lacey. Without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm Lacey Perpich Headkey. It was 2016. The world felt like it was falling apart. Not like now. It's totally together. And I was like, I've lived in Minneapolis most of my life. I'm from here. I love it. I feel, and at that time felt like it was just like really changing. A lot of art spaces were going away. A lot of like artist-run spaces were going away. And I was like, I want a space to have an artist residency and have workshops. And I was like, oh, and I'll add a little shop. And then I found this place. It was the only space I looked at. And Prince's costumes were made here. And then I took a magical bath and I was like, Prince, if you want to keep me out this weird, please help me get this spot. And then I got it. I feel like I bring my identity into the business and also like think about who I'm representing and like who I want to give money to. So everything here is made by predominantly women, queer, and trans people. Because like it feels really good at the end of each month to pay out people for stuff that they made. And it feels good to like one of the big ways we can make a difference is like how we spend our money. And it feels good to give money to them and to find a space to support those makers. In terms of my own identity, like I don't love labels. So I'm always like, am I queer? I guess in the 90s I was like, I'm bi, because that was the language we had. And now I'm just like, I'm Lacey. I'm an Aquarius. And I feel like being a woman who owns a business is like somewhat of a rebellion in itself. And I just think a lot about like, where do I want to spend my money? Who do I want to support and give share my platform with? And who already has the mic and who could use a couple more minutes on it or just take the whole thing? I'm predominantly an artist, and I kind of opened a business like almost accidentally. And there's been several times when men have stolen my ideas and tried to pass them off as their own, or been like, oh, this is just clip art, no one owns it, like we're gonna use it. And then that's been really frustrating because I feel like men take women's work and ideas and are like, oh, I just found this laying on the street, no one knows who made it, I'll just use it. That's been really frustrating. I think some lessons that I've learned, and I think it's just getting older, is like I just can't give a shit what people think about me. It's really none of my biz, and I can't do anything about it. And all I have to do is like do me. I think another lesson that I have learned is like I have to be top of my list. I love, like the artist residency was amazing. I opened this space because I was organizing all of these public art events. I was part of organizing the May Day Festival and art shanties and bare bones and the floating library and all of this like public art stuff, which I love. And I love supporting artists and being their cheerleader and giving them, helping support them. And I was like, I need my own project. And my own project also was so much about like, when I had the artist residency, it was so much about like promoting others' work, giving space and time to theirs. And then during the pandemic, I ran out of energy and inspiration. And I was like, you know what? I need to give all that energy to my art. And I think it's been in the past easier to be like, oh, it's important to like create community. Yes, all of this stuff is true. It's like it's important to create community and like, create opportunities for other artists. But like I wasn't putting my own name on that list. And so I think another lesson has just been like, I have to like put my own like on the plane and like put your own mask on before you help others. I think that's been a lesson. And also honestly, like running a business as an anti-capitalist has really been like, yes, there have been plenty of times, especially during the pandemic, but even before, when I'm like, oh, I could have made a lot of money or more money doing this thing, but it would have gone against my values, or it would have put my employees in a weird spot, or, even just like choosing to stay closed for over a year after everyone was told to stay home was like, because I don't want to run a business where everyone's getting this horrible disease. And like I could have made a lot more money if I had tons of events and tons of people in here and was open right away, but I just didn't feel right about it. So like, yes, obviously I would love to be like a multi-millionaire and or even a multi-hundredaire, but like I can feel like I like have some integrity by staying true to like caring about myself and the people that I work with and my community more than like making extra money. I mean, I feel like incorporating values into like the mission of the organization, whatever it is. And a lot of time that means like you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, or it's not going to be for everyone, and that's fine. And you're not going to make everyone happy. And honestly, I feel like when there's haters, like you've kind of arrived. I just feel like, especially for people who are already on the margins in some way, like we're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. And as long as like you know who you are and who you're doing it for, and not compromising on that, like that's fine. And like you're going to find your people, I think is the thing, is like. And also, I mean, this is easier said than done, but like when I found this spot, I really wanted to have a spot that aligns with my values, like I wanted a landlord that wasn't totally evil, and I wanted, even just like the stuff that I sell, like I don't like plastic. I don't, there's certain things where I'm like, there's certain things I don't sell, and it's like on purpose. And so I would say like the more specific you can get, the better. And the last thing I will say is that it's great to have boundaries with other people, but also with yourself, about how much you're working and how much you think you can do. And selection of like handmade stuff with like made by artists working with magic. You're not going to find most of this stuff anywhere else in Minneapolis or Minnesota. Any money that you spend here is going directly to an artist. It's like, again, like the way we spend our money is a big deal. And everyone that I am talking to is saying this is like the hardest financial time. And like when you buy something from here, that money goes to support an actual artist, which, also goes to helping continue the world we want to see or create the world we want to see. And like, this is an independent business, and like this whole like support independent businesses. It's not because we're like charity cases or we need so much help, but it's because like, well, do you want cool stuff, or do you just want like Costco everywhere and like these huge chains that can afford to stay open, or like influencers who are like millionaires who can have a cute little business? So anyway, and also like the people that work here are really cool, and we've got periodical events, and I just like, it's a space to have community and find stuff that is hopefully inspiring and makes you feel more magical.